Every day, without thinking, you lose 100 Indian rupees. Not in one big purchase. Not in something dramatic. Just small things. A coffee on the way to work. A quick food order. An app subscription you forgot about. A ride you didn't really need. 100 Indian rupees here. 80 Indian rupees there. Maybe 150 Indian rupees on a long day. Individually, it feels harmless. Almost invisible. But over time, it becomes something else entirely. Not just spending. A pattern. And that pattern has a cost most people never calculate. Let's make it uncomfortable for a second. 100 Indian rupees a day doesn't sound like much. It's less than a meal. Less than a movie ticket. Less than what many people tip without thinking. But multiply it. 100 Indian rupees a day becomes 3,000 Indian rupees a month. 36,000 Indian rupees a year. Still manageable, right? Now stretch it. 10 years. 3.6 Indian rupees lakh. And that's where people usually stop. Because 3.6 Indian rupees lakh feels like the real number. A big number. A noticeable one. But still, not life-changing. So the conclusion is simple. It's fine. It's normal. It's not the reason I'm broke. And that's exactly where the illusion begins. Because the real cost of that 100 Indian rupees was never 100 Indian rupees. It was time. Or more specifically, what that money could have become if you didn't spend it. Imagine two versions of the same person. Same job. Same salary. Same life. One spends that extra 100 Indian rupees every day. The other doesn't. Not because they're more disciplined. Not because they're more financially aware. They just make one different choice. They keep the 100 Indian rupees. And they invest it. Nothing fancy. Nothing risky. Just consistently. Day after day. Year after year. At first, nothing happens. The difference is invisible. Both lives look identical. Same apartment. Same routine. Same lifestyle. No one can tell who's doing better. Even they can't tell. Because in the beginning, saving feels pointless. The numbers are too small. The progress is too slow. The reward is too far away. So most people quit before anything meaningful happens. But time doesn't quit. Time compounds. Quietly. Relentlessly. Without asking for permission. After 1 year, the difference is small. After 3 years, still modest. After 5 years, it starts to show. After 10 years, it becomes obvious. And after 20? It's not even close anymore. Because that 100 Indian rupees wasn't just saved. It was working. Growing. Multiplying. While the other Indian rupee 100 disappeared. Consumed. Forgotten. Here's where the math becomes uncomfortable again. If you invest 100 Indian rupees daily with a modest return, over 20 years, it doesn't become 7.2 Indian rupees lakh. It becomes significantly more. Because money doesn't grow in a straight line. It curves. Slow at first. Then faster. Then suddenly, it feels unfair. And that's the part no one explains properly. Compound growth doesn't reward effort. It rewards time. Which means the earlier you start, the less you actually need to do. And the later you start, the more you need to sacrifice. So what keeps people from doing this? It's not ignorance. Most people have heard of saving. Of investing. Of making your money work for you. That idea isn't new. What's new is how easy it has become to spend. Everything around you is designed to make 100 Indian rupees feel insignificant. Apps reduce friction. Payments are instant. Decisions are emotional. You don't feel the money leaving. You just feel the convenience arriving. And convenience is powerful. Because it doesn't feel like a cost. It feels like a reward. You had a long day. You deserve something easy. You're tired. You don't want to think. So you tap a button. And the 100 Indian rupees is gone. No pain. No friction. No reflection. Just a small moment of relief. Now repeat that. Every day. For years. The system isn't forcing you to spend. It doesn't need to. It just makes spending effortless, and saving slightly inconvenient. And that small imbalance changes everything. Because saving requires intention. Spending requires nothing. And humans, by default, choose the path that requires less effort. Not because they're weak. Because they're efficient. So the 100 Indian rupees rule isn't really about money. It's about behavior. Tiny, repeated decisions that feel irrelevant in the moment. But define your financial trajectory over time. And here's the irony. The same person who says Indian rupee 100 doesn't matter will stress about a large expense later. A medical bill. A sudden repair. An opportunity they can't afford. Because the small leaks were ignored. Until they became a problem. But it goes deeper than that. Because this isn't just about losing money. It's about losing options. Every 100 Indian rupees you don't keep is a future decision you're quietly removing. A chance you won't have. A risk you won't be able to take. Because financial freedom isn't built in big moments. It's built in small, consistent ones. Now, let's flip the perspective. What if instead of asking, "Can I afford this 100 Indian rupees?" you asked, "What is this 100 Indian rupees costing me long term?" Not in guilt. Not in restriction. Just in awareness. Because sometimes the answer will be, nothing important. And sometimes, it will be more than you expect. The problem is, most people never ask the question. Because the system trains you not to. You're told to focus on income. On promotions. On earning more. And yes, income matters. But income alone doesn't build wealth. Retention does. What you keep matters more than what you earn. And the 100 Indian rupees rule quietly exposes that. You can earn a high salary and still leak money daily. You can get raises and still feel stuck. Because the pattern doesn't change. Only the scale does. 100 Indian rupees becomes 300 Indian rupees. 300 Indian rupees becomes 500 Indian rupees. Lifestyle expands. Spending grows. The rule stays the same. And that's why people say things like, "I earn more now, but I don't feel richer." Because they aren't. They're just operating at a higher level of the same system. Now think about the future. Not in a dramatic way. Just realistically. 10 years from now. Will your daily habits be different? Or just more expensive? Because if nothing changes, the outcome doesn't either. And this is where most financial advice gets it wrong. It focuses on big moves. Big investments. Big strategies. But ignores the small, daily behavior that makes those strategies possible. Because you can't invest consistently. If your money disappears inconsistently. You can't build wealth. On a foundation of leaks. And you can't outearn a system that quietly drains you every day. So the 100 Indian rupees rule isn't about cutting everything. It's not about never spending. Or living a restricted life. It's about noticing. Noticing how often you spend without thinking. Noticing how small decisions repeat. Noticing where your money actually goes. Because once you notice, you can choose. And choice is where everything begins. Not discipline. Not sacrifice. Just awareness. Because the difference between two financial futures often isn't a big decision. It's a small one. Repeated. Quietly. Daily. So tomorrow, when you're about to spend that Indian rupee 100, pause for a second. Not to stop yourself. Just to see it clearly. Because if one small decision, repeated over time, can keep you stuck, what could the opposite do? And more importantly, how many of those decisions have already been made, without you even realizing it?